This is section 6.5, completing the square. This right here is the format for completing the square when your leading coefficient is 1. I'd like you to go ahead and copy this down, put the video on pause, and then once you're done, go ahead and press play. Alright, now that you have this information written down, we are going to try it on an actual equation. Now, first of all, we must note that in order to complete the square and change our equation into vertex form, the leading coefficient must be 1. And in this case, it is. So now I'm going to go to step 2. I'm going to add 1 on both sides in order to move C. I added on both sides. Now I have y plus 1 equals x squared plus 4x. In my next step, I find b, divide it by 2 and square it. My b in this case is 4. I divide it by 2 and square it. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and squared is indeed 4. So now that is the value we are going to add to both sides of our equation. Right now it's just y plus 1 equals x squared plus 4x. And so what we're going to do once we found this b divided by 2 squared value, we are going to add it to both sides of the equation. Remember that that's just going to balance it, not change it. So over on the left-hand side, I get y plus 5. And over here on the right-hand side, I have x squared plus 4x plus 4, which I could now complete this square. What are the factors of 4, whose sum is 4? Hopefully you will agree with me that that's 2. And this would be x plus 2 times x plus 2, or x plus 2 squared. Now please notice that this value inside right here, 4 divided by 2, is 2. And so those values are one and the same. For tomorrow, I would like you to try this number 2. Y equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. All right, but before you're done, let's go ahead and move on to taking it up a notch. If you complete the square when your leading coefficient is not 1, you have some a value, you're going to need to utilize this format. Please notice that instead of writing 1/2 b each time, I just change it to 0.5. Because at this point it might be easier to use 0.5 instead of 1/2. Alright, go ahead and copy that down. And now let's go to the next slide and actually try it on an equation. So first of all, my leading coefficient is not 1. And so I'm going to need to get rid of that a value. So I'm going to go ahead and move C. I'm going to subtract it on both sides. And now I'm going to need to get rid of a. So what I'm going to do is factor it out. And then inside here, I'm still going to be able to complete the square. So let's find our b value. My b value is 2. And in case, let's go ahead and call that a negative 2. I'm going to have a negative 2 right here. Divide it by 2 or multiply it by 0.5 and square it. Negative 2 divided by 2 gives me negative 1. When I square it, gives me a positive 1. So this positive 1 I'm going to add right here. But please notice that it's actually being multiplied by a 2. So over here, I'm actually going to add 2 times 1, which is 2. That's a careful computation you have to do there because it's a little bit tricky. Now when I simplify, I have y minus 1. And over here, don't I have a perfect square? Factors of 1, whose sum is 2, would be 1 and 1. They both should be negative. And I have x minus 1 quantity squared. Now that I have it in vertex form, I can find my h value, my k value, and go ahead and graph. For tomorrow, I would also like you to graph, or Complete the square for this number 4. Y equals 2x squared minus 4x plus 1. All right, I will see you tomorrow.